ever looked at what most people call trash and wondered if it could become something beautiful? Welcome to Nest Nature, a place where we turn the ordinary into extraordinary. In today's video, we'll explore creative DIY trash garden ideas that transform bottles, jars, and even junk into stunning borders, fences, and backyard art. To make it easy, this video has timestamps. Feel free to jump to what inspires you most. And if you have questions or your own ideas, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoy this, don't just watch. Try it, adapt it, make it your own. Maybe to you, I'm just another voice on a screen. But behind these projects, there's a real story and a real family. This isn't just content, it's a piece of my heart. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, they truly matter. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting a creator. You're keeping a dream alive and giving a small family hope, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to see me. There is something magical about a garden where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. In a quiet front yard, where the air is filled with the gentle fragrance of marigolds and the soft rustle of autumn joy sedum, a simple idea takes root. Old glass bottles, once forgotten and discarded, are reborn as a rainbow edging that frames the garden with joy. Each bottle tells its own story. Once clear, dull, or tinted with age, they are now brushed with layers of bright color: crimson red, sunflower yellow, ocean blue, meadow green, and royal purple. Half buried in the soil, their tops catch the sunlight, scattering playful reflections across the grass. The rainbow border does more than mark a space. It creates a frame for the flowers, a celebration of color that enhances the natural beauty already blooming within. In the backyard, the same bottles line a narrow stone path. The path meanders through clumps of chrysanthemums and Japanese anemones, guiding footsteps into a world of rustic serenity. Here, the rainbow edging shines even brighter, each hue contrasting with the soft petals of autumn flowers. Children love to follow the path, running their hands along the tops of the bottles, laughing as the colors seem to dance under the sun. In the tiniest of gardens, where space is precious, the rainbow edging transforms a corner into a jewel box of beauty. Pastel-painted bottles surround a patch of daisies and marigolds, turning a small bed into a vibrant centerpiece. Against a rustic bamboo fence, the rainbow border creates a playful charm, reminding anyone who visits that joy does not require grandeur, it only requires creativity. This is the magic of the rainbow bottle border. It is proof that beauty can be reborn from what is discarded. It is a reminder that a garden is not only a place for plants but also a canvas for imagination. With each step through these colorful edges, the backyard and front yard become more than just outdoor spaces. They become living art, painted by hands willing to see beauty where others see waste. As the sun sinks lower, the garden takes on a new personality. What was once bright and cheerful under the daylight becomes serene and enchanting in the soft embrace of twilight. Along the winding paths of the front yard, simple glass jars and cups, once empty vessels forgotten in cupboards, are reborn as glowing lanterns. Each lantern holds a gentle flame of light, powered by the day's sun. Painted in hues of pastel pink, sky blue, and moss green, the jars shimmer as the evening deepens, casting dappled glows across stone and soil. They are not just lanterns but guardians of the pathway, guiding each step with warmth and grace. The marigolds along the edge seem to nod in approval, their orange petals catching the glow like tiny sparks. In the backyard, the scene becomes even more intimate. A narrow gravel path meanders between sedum and Japanese anemones, their leaves darkened by the fading light. Here, the lanterns glow warmer, painted in earthy tones that echo the rustic charm of the pergola standing quietly in the background. The soft lights reflect against the glass, glimmers bouncing across the foliage, as if the garden itself is alive and breathing with a secret joy. Even in the tiniest of spaces, the lantern path transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Small jars, painted with rainbow colors, hang from low posts along a modest garden corner. Their glow reveals asters in bloom, their delicate petals made luminous in the night. The path, once plain and overlooked, is now a stage of wonder, every step guided by a whisper of light. The glass lantern path is more than decoration. It is memory and imagination intertwined, a reminder that beauty can be found in simplicity. A jar once held water, a cup once served tea, now they hold light, guiding hearts through gardens that feel alive even in darkness. With each glow, the garden becomes not just a space, but a story, a place where discarded things rise again to illuminate both earth and soul. In the quiet embrace of a garden, where petals sway gently in the breeze, something unexpected stands tall among the blooms. It is not a flower born from soil, but one reborn from forgotten scraps of iron. Shaped by patient hands, painted in warm shades of yellow and orange, the rustic metal sunflowers rise proudly, echoing the joy of the real blossoms around them. In the front yard, these sculptures create a spectacle of resilience. Between marigolds bursting in orange and asters glowing in purple, the metal sunflowers shine like guardians of the garden. Their sturdy petals reflect the sunlight, each curve catching a glimmer of brightness, as if to remind passers-by that beauty does not fade with time or rust, it only transforms. The backyard holds a more intimate scene. In a quiet corner, the rustic sunflowers bloom beside Japanese anemones and sedum, their painted gold harmonizing with the soft blush of autumn. A wooden fence frames the view, weathered by years yet rich with character. Against this backdrop, the metal sunflowers feel timeless, bridging the worlds of nature and craft, standing as a testament to creativity that sees art in the discarded. Even in the smallest gardens, these creations bring magic. Mini sunflowers of painted iron stand proudly among chrysanthemums, their cheerful faces turned toward the sky. Visitors smile as they notice them, often mistaking them for real blooms at first glance. But when the light strikes their metallic edges, the charm of surprise blooms, a moment where imagination meets reality. The rustic metal sunflower sculptures are more than decoration, they are symbols of transformation. Once useless fragments of metal, they now tell a story of hope, joy, and endurance. They remind us that gardens are not only places of growth but also canvases where life and art intertwine. With each glance, they whisper a gentle truth, that beauty can be forged not just from nature, but from the human heart's ability to see potential in what was once forgotten. Sometimes the most delightful surprises come from the smallest of things. Along an ordinary fence, where wooden planks or bamboo slats usually stand bare, a row of cups begins to bloom. Not cups on a kitchen shelf, not mugs steaming with morning tea, but cups reborn as tiny vessels of life. Painted in colors that speak of joy, lavender, turquoise, lemon yellow, and rose pink, each cup cradles a living plant, transforming the fence into a living canvas of creativity. In the front yard, these colorful planters create a cheerful welcome. Visitors pause at the sight, marigolds and asters spilling from cups that once held coffee or cocoa. Their colors echo the painted ceramic, blending the handmade with the natural in a harmony that feels both playful and serene. The fence is no longer just a boundary, it has become a gallery of everyday art. In the backyard, the mood shifts to something rustic and nostalgic. Old ceramic cups, rescued from cupboards and flea markets, are hand-painted in soft farmhouse tones, creamy whites, faded teals, warm terracotta. Each cup holds chrysanthemums and Japanese anemones, their blooms spilling gently as though leaning toward the sun. The fence, once silent, now hums with life, its wooden frame alive with character and charm. Even in the smallest garden corners, this idea shines brightest. Along a bamboo fence in a suburban tiny yard, mismatched mugs are painted in pastel rainbow shades. From their rounded mouths grow daisies, marigolds, and sprigs of fresh herbs. The arrangement feels playful, like a secret garden discovered in the most ordinary place. Children laugh at the sight, their eyes wide with wonder, as if the fence itself has learned how to bloom. The upcycled cup planter fence is a reminder that beauty often begins with imagination. What once seemed ordinary or broken becomes extraordinary when placed in the garden's embrace. A fence, often overlooked, becomes a story of joy, color, and renewal. With each painted cup and every bloom it holds, the garden whispers a gentle truth, that life, no matter how small, always finds a way to shine. In the heart of a garden, even the humblest objects can rise again with beauty. A wooden ladder, once weary from years of labor, finds new life among the flowers. Its steps no longer lead to rooftops or rafters but to blossoms and leaves, to color and fragrance. This is the charm of the farmhouse junk ladder garden, where simplicity becomes poetry. In the front yard, the ladder stands proudly, painted in shabby chic white with gentle strokes of wear that tell its story. Each step is alive. A tin can painted turquoise overflows with marigolds, a recycled jar gleams with asters, a small bucket bursts with chrysanthemums. The ladder, once utilitarian, now blooms like a tree of crafted joy. Neighbors pause to smile, charmed by the unexpected transformation of junk into wonder. The backyard holds a quieter magic. In a shaded corner, a rustic ladder leans against a fence, cradling pastel-painted bottles and jars. From them spill Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum, their petals catching the late sunlight. Ivy twines nearby, whispering secrets to the wooden frame, while the pergola in the distance completes the scene with timeless charm. It feels like stepping into a farmhouse dream, where nothing is wasted, and everything has a place. Even in the tiniest gardens, the ladder brings delight. A simple, soft cream frame holds mismatched planters, cups, jars, and buckets once destined for the trash. Now they bloom with daisies and marigolds, their colors playful and bright against the weathered wood. The ladder stands like a friend in the garden, always ready, always giving, a beacon of creativity in a small space. The farmhouse junk ladder garden is more than decoration. It is a story of renewal, a reminder that objects, like people, can find new purpose when placed in the right light. It teaches that beauty does not need perfection, but heart. Step by step, planter by planter, the ladder whispers a truth every garden knows, that life, even when reborn from the discarded, can climb higher into joy. At the edge of the garden, where boundaries usually stand plain and silent, something extraordinary rises. It is not just a wall, nor merely a fence, but a canvas of bamboo and glass, a fusion of earth and light. The bamboo and bottle glow wall transforms what was once discarded into a masterpiece of color and reflection. In the front yard, the wall gleams like a rainbow. Strong bamboo poles stand upright, their natural texture warm against the painted bottles that sit between them. Green, blue, pink, and yellow, each bottle glows under the sunlight, scattering jewel-like hues across chrysanthemums and marigolds blooming nearby. Visitors pause at the sight, captured by the playful mix of rustic bamboo and shimmering glass, as if the garden itself has learned how to smile. In the backyard, the glow takes on a quieter, more rustic charm. A bamboo screen stands tall, decorated with bottles painted in farmhouse tones, teal, amber, terracotta. When the sunlight hits, the bottles cast warm reflections that ripple gently across the petals of Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum. The wall does more than divide space, it breathes character, a glowing guardian of the garden soul. Even in the smallest garden corners, this idea radiates delight. A simple bamboo fence becomes a stage for pastel-painted bottles, their soft rainbow tones catching the light and casting subtle colors onto daisies and marigolds. In a tiny yard, where every detail matters, the glow wall turns an ordinary fence into an enchanting feature, a source of endless charm for both children and guests. The bamboo and bottle glow wall is more than a decoration, it is a dialogue between the natural and the handmade. Bamboo, ancient and enduring, cradles glass reborn from waste. Together, they remind us that beauty is not found in extravagance but in balance, in the marriage of what is simple and what is creative. With every reflection and every bloom beneath it, the glow wall tells a story of renewal, a story where trash becomes treasure, and where every garden, no matter how small, can shine with unexpected brilliance. A pergola is already a frame for beauty, a wooden skeleton where vines and flowers weave their living tapestry. Yet, when adorned with hanging glass drops, it becomes something more, a stage where sunlight and color perform in harmony. In the front yard, the pergola greets every guest with a touch of enchantment. From its beams dangle glass bottles reshaped into drops, each painted in translucent hues of aqua, emerald, and rose. As the morning sun filters through them, the patio floor dances with colorful reflections. Beneath this glowing canopy, marigolds and chrysanthemums bloom with renewed vibrancy, their petals shimmering under the playful light. The pergola feels alive, as though the garden itself had discovered jewelry to wear. The backyard offers a deeper, rustic charm. A pergola draped in ivy and climbing vines becomes a haven of shade and color. Hanging glass jars, painted in amber, gold, and rustic red, capture the late afternoon sun. They glow softly, their warm tones echoing the blush of Japanese anemones and the russet shades of autumn joy sedum planted below. As evening nears, the pergola becomes a lanterned retreat, a cozy sanctuary where nature and handmade craft intertwine. Even in the smallest gardens, the magic persists. A miniature pergola in a tiny corner hosts pastel-painted drops, suspended at varying heights like playful jewels. Asters and daisies bloom beneath, their gentle petals highlighted by the soft glows of the glass. The tiny yard, once overlooked, transforms into a delightful escape, proof that charm is not measured by size but by imagination. The pergola hanging glass drops remind us that gardens are more than spaces to plant. They are places to dream, to craft, to create stories of beauty from the simplest of materials. Glass once discarded, shaped into drops, finds new purpose in catching the sun and scattering its brilliance. The pergola becomes not just a structure, but a living chandelier under the open sky, whispering to all who pass beneath it, "Here, even the forgotten can shine." A gazebo is more than a shelter, it is a pause in the garden, a space where time feels slower. Yet when decorated with wind chimes born from junk, the gazebo transforms into a place of music, where even the breeze becomes an artist. In the front yard, the gazebo stands like a welcoming friend. From its beams hang wind chimes crafted from recycled bottles and painted iron scraps. Each glass piece shimmers in pastel tones of blue, pink, and lavender, while the metal catches the light in rustic silver and bronze. When the wind stirs, they sing together, soft tinkling notes that dance among marigolds and chrysanthemums blooming nearby. Visitors stop to listen, surprised by the gentle melody created from what was once forgotten. The backyard reveals a richer, earthier charm. A rustic wooden gazebo hosts chimes of painted glass jars and curved metal scraps, finished in farmhouse tones of amber, teal, and copper. Their voices are deeper, blending with the rustle of autumn joy sedum and Japanese anemones planted around the stone patio. Sitting here, one feels cocooned in warmth, as if nature and craft have joined to create a secret concert for those who linger long enough to listen. Even in the tiniest gardens, the magic is real. A small gazebo in a suburban corner carries wind chimes painted in rainbow hues, mismatched bottles and scraps swaying together. Their playful clinks echo through daisies and marigolds, filling the small yard with life. Children laugh as the sounds rise with each gust, the chimes becoming instruments of joy in the simplest of spaces. The gazebo junk wind chimes tell a story of transformation. Junk iron, old bottles, discarded jars, all reborn as art and music. They remind us that beauty is not only seen but also heard, that the garden is a place where every sense can be awakened. In every breeze, the chimes sing of resilience and creativity, whispering to all who listen, even in what is thrown away, there lies a melody waiting to be found. A garden is a place where imagination blooms as freely as flowers. Along the edges of beds and borders, where the soil meets the path, something unusual catches the eye, not stones, not wood, but flip-flops. Once worn, once abandoned, they now stand reborn as a colorful border, playful and full of charm. In the front yard, the flip-flop flower border stretches like a rainbow along the blooms. Painted in mint green, coral pink, sunshine yellow, and sky blue, each sandal frames marigolds and asters with a cheerful touch. Neighbors smile as they pass, surprised by the unexpected beauty born from something so ordinary. What once walked streets now guards petals, standing tall in a new role. The backyard carries a quieter tone. Old sandals, worn smooth by time, are given fresh life with farmhouse colors, creamy whites, warm terracotta, faded teal. Lined along a rustic fence, they cradle chrysanthemums and Japanese anemones, blending with the earthy palette of autumn joy sedum. In this corner, the flip-flop border feels like a gentle nod to memory and nostalgia, holding both past and present in its painted soles. Even in the tiniest garden, the idea sparkles with delight. A playful border of rainbow-painted flip-flops surrounds a small bed of daisies and marigolds. Their colors shout joy, their shapes invite laughter. Children run their fingers along them, giggling at the sight of shoes turned into garden art. In such a small space, the sandals transform the soil into a stage of creativity, proof that charm needs no grandeur. The flip-flop flower border tells us that beauty does not demand wealth or rarity. It asks only for vision, for the willingness to see potential where others see waste. With every painted strap and sole, the garden whispers of renewal, of joy found in the simplest transformations. These sandals no longer walk the world, yet they still journey, guiding eyes and hearts to discover wonder in unexpected places. At the edge of a garden, where fences often stand plain and unnoticed, a new story emerges, one told in blue. From cobalt to turquoise, from aqua to sky, the seascape blue bottle fence shimmers like sunlight caught upon waves. What was once discarded glass now stands as a vision of the sea, bringing a coastal dream into the heart of the garden. In the front yard, the bottles gleam like jewels, aligned on wooden posts and glowing under the sun. Their cool tones echo the ocean, while marigolds, asters, and chrysanthemums bloom brightly behind them, like fire against water. Visitors pause to admire the surprising harmony, where warmth and coolness meet in one living frame. The backyard reveals a rustic variation. A wooden fence holds bottles arranged in wave-like patterns, their hues of cobalt and aqua dancing in the light. Around them grow Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum, their soft petals illuminated by the glowing glass. Overhead, ivy drapes a pergola, completing the scene with timeless serenity. The garden feels like a secret cove, a retreat where the sound of waves might be imagined in the breeze. Even in the smallest corners, the seascape magic shines. A bamboo fence becomes a canvas for soft pastel bottles, their aqua and sky blue tones glowing above daisies and marigolds. The contrast of bright blossoms against cool glass creates a playful charm, transforming a tiny yard into a miniature coastal escape. The seascape blue bottle fence is more than decoration. It is a journey, a reminder that beauty can sail from the most unexpected shores. Each bottle, once tossed aside, becomes a piece of ocean light, carrying with it the rhythm of waves and the calm of tides. In every reflection, in every hue, the fence whispers of renewal, proof that even in the garden, we can hold a piece of the sea. There is something timeless about a butterfly. It is a symbol of transformation, a whisper of beauty carried on delicate wings. In the garden, where flowers already dance with color, the arrival of rustic butterfly frames brings a touch of artful permanence, wings forged not from silk, but from iron. In the front yard, the butterflies rest on the fence as though pausing in flight. Crafted from upcycled iron scraps, each frame is painted in vivid shades, a burst of blue, a flicker of orange, a glimmer of yellow. The metallic accents catch the sunlight, creating flashes that seem to mimic the flutter of real wings. Marigolds and chrysanthemums bloom nearby, their warm petals harmonizing with the butterfly's brilliance. Passers-by stop and smile, uncertain at first if the garden has been graced by life or by art. In the backyard, the scene softens into rustic charm. A trellis hosts butterflies painted in farmhouse tones of copper, teal, and bronze. Around them, Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum bloom in seasonal splendor. The ivy-covered pergola nearby casts gentle shade, framing the butterflies in an aura of timeless serenity. Here, the sculptures are not just decoration, they are guardians of memory, reminders of resilience born from discarded metal. Even in the tiniest gardens, butterflies bring magic. Small frames of painted junk metal adorn a bamboo fence, their pastel rainbow hues blending with daisies and asters below. The sight transforms the tiny yard into an enchanting space, where art and life blur into one. Children laugh, chasing the shadows of the butterflies, while adults linger, admiring the whimsy that turns waste into wonder. The rustic iron butterfly frames tell a story not just of flight, but of renewal. Iron, once destined to rust away, becomes wings again, strong yet graceful, eternal yet light. They remind us that transformation is not only for nature but also for the things we discard. In every painted wing, the garden whispers of resilience, of imagination, of beauty reborn. The butterflies do not fly away. They remain, forever blooming with the flowers, forever reminding us that art is everywhere, if only we choose to see it. A garden, no matter how small, always holds space for wonder. Among flowers and leaves, a tiny spectacle flows, a waterfall not of rivers or mountains, but of teacups. Once cradling tea at a quiet table, these cups now cradle water and light, cascading gently in a stream of imagination. In the front yard, the teacup waterfall greets visitors with whimsy. Painted in pastel lavender, mint green, and blush pink, the cups tip gracefully into one another, creating the illusion of a never-ending pour. Around them, marigolds and chrysanthemums bloom brightly, their petals nodding as if enchanted by the playful flow. The feature rests on a bed of stone and greenery, a jewel of creativity in the heart of the garden. The backyard version tells a more rustic story. Old mismatched cups, rescued from cupboards and flea markets, are painted in farmhouse tones of cream, teal, and terracotta. They align in a vertical cascade, trickling water softly into a stone basin below. Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum grow around the feature, their blossoms catching droplets like jewels. Nearby, a pergola draped in ivy completes the scene, framing the gentle trickle as if it were part of nature itself. In the tiniest gardens, the teacup waterfall sparkles with delight. Rainbow-painted mugs spill water across smooth stones, surrounded by daisies and asters blooming in cheerful clusters. The stream is small, almost secret, yet it transforms the corner into a magical retreat. Children watch with wide eyes, tracing the flow from one cup to another, while adults smile at the thought of ordinary mugs turned into extraordinary beauty. The tiny garden teacup waterfall is more than a feature, it is a reminder of transformation. Cups once destined for dust and silence now carry movement, sound, and light. They teach us that creativity has no limit, that even the smallest spaces can host grand ideas. In their cascade, they whisper a truth gardens know well: beauty flows endlessly, if only we choose to let it. Patios are often the heart of a garden, the place where footsteps gather and moments linger. Yet when transformed with mosaic glass art, they become more than stone and surface, they become stories written in light and color. In the front yard, the patio blossoms like a second garden. Pieces of recycled glass, once dull and forgotten, are reborn as petals of a mosaic. Blue, green, yellow, and red shards form floral patterns that echo the marigolds and asters blooming nearby. Under the sunlight, the glass sparkles like dew, scattering fragments of color across the ground. Every step feels like walking through a painting, a garden within a garden. The backyard tells a more rustic tale. At its center, the patio holds a circular mandala made from upcycled shards in earthy farmhouse tones: teal, amber, terracotta. Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum grow around the edges, their blossoms mirroring the patterns underfoot. Above, ivy drapes across a pergola, casting shadows that dance over the mosaic. The space feels timeless, as though the patio has captured both craft and nature in its embrace. Even in a tiny garden, mosaic glass art shines brightly. A playful corner patio glitters with rainbow-painted shards arranged into daisies and geometric designs. Around it, potted marigolds and asters bloom in cheerful clusters, their colors blending seamlessly with the glass. The small space becomes a treasure, a place where visitors pause to admire the artistry underfoot. The patio mosaic glass art is more than decoration. It is a reminder that beauty can rise from what is broken. Each shard, sharp and discarded, is reborn as part of something greater. Together they create patterns that delight the eye and lift the spirit. With every ray of sunlight, with every flower nearby, the mosaic whispers the garden's eternal truth, that nothing is wasted, and that color will always find its way back to life. Autumn is a season that paints the garden with warmth, golden leaves, crisp air, and blooms that carry the promise of change. Among these signs of the season, something unexpected rises: pumpkin planters, not carved from nature, but forged from what was once considered waste. Made of junk metal, shaped with care, and painted in tones of orange and copper, they stand as symbols of creativity reborn. In the front yard, the pumpkin planters glow with seasonal cheer. Painted in bright orange with playful green stems, they cradle marigolds, asters, and chrysanthemums. Their colors mirror the fallen leaves scattered across the ground, creating a tableau that feels like autumn itself has chosen this corner to rest. Neighbors pause, smiling at the whimsy of pumpkins blooming not with vines, but with flowers. The backyard carries a rustic charm. Larger planters of metal, painted in deep farmhouse tones of terracotta and copper, sit against a wooden fence. They overflow with Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum, blossoms that lean toward the cool air. Overhead, ivy drapes a pergola, framing the scene in timeless beauty. The pumpkin planters feel less like ornaments and more like old friends, sharing the quiet warmth of the season. Even the smallest gardens can host their magic. Mini pumpkin pots, painted in soft peach and cream, line a bamboo fence in a tiny yard. They hold daisies and marigolds, their cheerful faces glowing against the delicate frames. In this little space, the pumpkins bring laughter and charm, proving that autumn's spirit fits even in the humblest of places. The autumn junk pumpkin planters are more than seasonal decor, they are a celebration of transformation. Scrap metal, cold and forgotten, becomes a symbol of harvest and abundance. Their shapes tell a story of resilience, of beauty born from what others cast aside. Each flower blooming from their hollow frames whispers the same truth, that creativity can turn the ordinary into extraordinary, and that even in the chill of autumn, warmth can always be found. twilight falls and the garden prepares to rest, a gentle glow awakens along the fence. From recycled glass jars, painted with love and fitted with soft lights, the fence becomes a lantern of its own, a line of warmth that stretches through the evening air. This is the magic of the cottage glow jar fence, where ordinary glass finds a second life as light itself. In the front yard, the jars shimmer in pastel shades of lavender, mint green, and peach. Each holds a solar glow, casting gentle light onto marigolds and asters blooming below. The fence, once plain, now hums with color and warmth, greeting passers-by like a row of cheerful guardians. The jars do not merely illuminate, they charm, filling the air with a sense of welcome and wonder. The backyard scene is richer, more rustic. Here, jars painted in tones of amber, teal, and terracotta hang from the fence, their soft light glowing against Japanese anemones and autumn joy sedum. The wooden pergola draped in ivy nearby completes the atmosphere, a haven of peace where the day's work melts into evening rest. Sitting here, one feels cocooned in the garden's embrace, warmed not by fire but by creativity's gentle spark. Even in the smallest yards, the glow finds its place. Along a bamboo fence in a tiny garden, rainbow-painted jars shine with soft light. Daisies and marigolds beneath them seem to smile, their petals illuminated in shades that feel both playful and tender. The glow transforms the small space into a retreat, a corner of magic waiting quietly under the night sky. The cottage glow jar fence is more than decoration. It is a symbol of renewal, of warmth drawn from what was once discarded. Jars that once held water or jam now hold light, becoming lanterns that tell stories of transformation. They remind us that beauty is not only in the bloom of flowers but in the glow we choose to bring to the world around us. In their soft radiance, the garden whispers, even in darkness, there can always be light.